And welcome to Tips and Tricks. I'm Debbie Nelson with Together SC, and I'm delighted to see all of you today. I'm also delighted to introduce you to one of our very loyal business partners, Greene Finney. This organization has been around since 1996, and over the years, they have been a wealth of knowledge to the nonprofit sector. They've been a great partner to Together SC. They've shared information with us at our summits and online webinars, and we are just delighted that they are going to join us for tips and tricks. The gentleman that's with us today is Kevin Thomas. He is a senior manager at Greene Finney, and he has been there since 2004. I would like to call you, Kevin, a technical or technology guru. And he works almost exclusively with nonprofits and government entities. So welcome, Kevin.
Thank you so much, Debbie. That's quite an honor to be called a technical guru or technology guru. I'm not quite sure if I'm there yet, but appreciate it. Yeah, I'm with Greene Finney. We do a lot of accounting work from auditing, tax, and bookkeeping. I'm over the bookkeeping department, and we help a number of nonprofits do their financial work, record information in Quickbooks, bank reconciliations, and financial statements. So glad to be here with you, Debbie.
Well, great. And you're here today to answer a burning question. As you just mentioned, your firm works with Quickbooks and with their clients with Quickbooks. This is a Quickbooks question, so I hope you're ready to answer it. But from my understanding, there are two platforms for Quickbooks. There is the desktop version and the online version. And many nonprofits are using Quickbooks for their accounting needs. So the question is, should we be on the desktop version or the online version? And are there pros and cons to the different formats? And if we do this change, say from desktop to online, is that a difficult thing to do? Do you have an answer for us, Kevin?
Yeah, let's dive into that. Yes, there are two versions of Quickbooks. There's Quickbooks Desktop and Quickbooks Online. Quickbooks Online is the newer version. And I would say that Quickbooks Online is much easier to access remotely than desktop is. Desktop's typically installed on your computer and or server, so you have to have access to that. Lots of times that means being in the office or VPNing into a server somewhere. The Quickbooks Online, all you need is a connection to the internet through a computer and a browser, and you can log in. So it's a lot easier to access that way. I also think it's a lot easier to share information with your accountant or auditor. Desktop, you can share it too, but usually you have to do that by a backup or a company copy and send it somehow either through a portal or by email. So I think just online makes it a lot easier, a lot simpler to access and to share that information. Intuit is putting a lot of resources behind QuickBooks Online. So you get the latest and greatest updates that they roll out all the time. That would be one thing to consider. That's one of the differences. When you buy a desktop version, you're buying a version of, say, 2021. That's the most recent one. Or maybe you have 2020 QuickBooks version. With QuickBooks Online, you have the most recent upgrade that they rolled out at your fingertips at all times. So to briefly discuss that too, you got a little bit of a pricing structure, pricing difference there. QBO is a month-to-month subscription. There's different levels of subscriptions, but you're paying it month to month. Whereas QB Desktop, you're typically buying that year version of QuickBooks. So say you bought 2021, it's just a one-time purchase, and then you can use it for really as long as you want. But typically there's a couple of years, and often people like to have the most recent update with technology. So another thing that I like about QuickBooks Online is that I think the user interface is a little better. Being this online platform, it's obviously a lot different. So you could also say that's a con, because it is quite a bit different than what you would be used to in QuickBooks Desktop, but it's pretty easy to get used to. It's simpler. The reports are there, are easy to run and generate. We'll say that on the reporting side, one might say and find out that the budget to actual reporting is a little different on online than desktop, but it's something that you can work around. There's not as many canned reports on the online version, but one of the things I like about the online version is that you can customize and adjust the reports pretty easily. It's pretty simple to understand, pretty easy to where to go to, and then you can even save those customized reports. And you can save them in desktop too, but online is just more of a newer, smoother platform. One of the things to consider too, as far as changing from desktop to online, would be if you're using QuickBooks for payroll. Because in my experience, we took one of the recent payroll clients from desktop to online, and there was a little bit of a issue with bringing some payroll data over from desktop to online. So not that you can't, but anytime you do a software conversion, even though this is still within Intuit, you're changing softwares. So you have to consider what might not pull over. Well, that's kind of a good segue into how hard is this? How easy is this? It's actually pretty easy. QuickBooks Desktop has built in the section where all you got to do is, I think, go to the company file menu, and then it's right there. It's pretty much export to QuickBooks Online. So you set up an online account, follow through the prompts, and then you will get an email once the data is ready. And my experience, that email comes typically within 24 hours or less. That email also provides a summary of how the export went. And it gives you some areas that you might need to address. It might say, well, you had a clean slate, you're all good. And that's always great if you don't have any errors or issues. I'd also like to encourage everybody that if you do this or go that way, to make sure you look over your trial balance to make sure that numbers didn't change. We always do that when we have a conversion, just to make sure that our balances are the same. And of course, that email should be able to tell you and direct you to where to go as well. So I really think that's most of it. One other thing I guess you could say is with QuickBooks Online, you are a little more subject to a good internet connection or internet connection in general. Whereas desktop, that would be typically on your computer or on your server. So another thing to consider.
Well, that's great information. It really does explain the differences and the benefits to being online. Sounds like you might think online works well for many folks. But again, there are applications for the desktop version. So thank you to our friends at Greene Finney. Thank you for all the work you do in the nonprofit sector. And thank you for your time today. It was great to be with you, Kevin. I hope you all join us for our next tips and tricks. See y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.